So the big question is this: how are those in the self-storage industry like us going to be successful in today's market? That's the question, and this show will give you the answers. My name is Jim Ross, and welcome to the Self-Storage Show.
Hey guys, good morning, good Monday morning. At least when I'm recording this, it's Monday. You might be listening to this later on. I was going through some stats, kind of funny, on the Self-Storage Show podcast. I'm trying to get more consistent on that, but I was looking at some old stats on there, and it's funny how many people are listening to it year or 2 years later, just now kind of finding the podcast and all of that. And it just kind of makes me feel like, yeah, it's with all the focus and the hype with around storage right now, you can kind of start seeing people doing their research and looking for content and materials out there and finding it, like I said, years later in some cases, and it's getting downloads and reviews. So that's a good thing. Makes me happy that people are finding it and wanting to learn more about storage. And that's kind of what I wanted to talk to you a little bit more about today, quite frankly, is more about the content and what's out there and that's available to you right now. So there's a lot going on in storage. You know, there's a lot of, I remember back in the day, we had magazines and trade shows, a couple times a year, state shows, that kind of thing. And that was kind of it. But, thankfully for the last few years, it's a lot more people are doing, again, podcasts and doing more virtual summits and things like that. And just doing a lot more webinars and getting that content and education out there, which is fantastic. The more the merrier, the better it is. And actually, it's more people are putting things out there. Honestly, I think the more that's out there, more people that are doing it, it kind of raises the game of everybody else, making sure that they're putting out there good and valuable content, not just talking for the sake of talking, but actually having something good to say. And those that are taking the time and out of their day to either listen or watch it or read it or what have you, getting something out of it. That's kind of the point, isn't it? So that's what I wanted to talk to you a little bit more about today. I've brought this up, a few times now, but I've got some questions going, well, is this thing really free and why? And so I kind of want to get a little more into that, the ultimate self-storage management playbook that I've put together. I want to kind of delve deep a little bit more into what that's all about, what it is and why I'm doing it. So to begin with, kind of what I was talking about before of, putting things out there that's of value. Done that for years, quite frankly. People are always like, well, why are you just doing that? 'Cause a lot of times I would do it for free. Sometimes it'd be a little nominal amount just to get access. But it all comes back. I have a third-party property management company. That's what I do to pay the bills. That's my business. It is the property management company. And a lot of times the things I put out there for free, it trickles down and it comes back as it's one thing. It's like, cool, I can learn all this myself and do it myself, or I can just pay you to do it for me. And that's kind of the relationship. Quite frankly, that's why I put it all out there, because hey, it all comes back. But I wanted to take a little bit of time here this morning. I'll be mindful of your time, but go through it a little more in detail on what is included in that third-party management company that I do, but all the content that I put together in this playbook. Because it's not just me. I got a lot of people that are in there, because that's one thing that's great about storage, especially you guys that are new, that are kind of getting into storage. Really, everyone's out there willing to share. They're willing to give. They're willing to give value to you and tell you what they know, tell you what they don't know. If they don't know, talk to this guy. And that's really, from what I hear, that's kind of unique within industries. Sometimes that's kind of sets self-storage apart in a lot of ways. of just how willing people are willing to share and help you learn and grow in the industry. So this is just my little small contribution, but as you'll see here in a second, I have a lot of other my friends and people in the industry that are in this package as well. So let me share here real quick. And where to go? Let me put this up real quick for you. So everything I'm talking about here, it's at 3milestorage.com. Okay. That's where you can find all this information. Pull this up. All right. So first, when you go to 3milestorage.com, you'll find this page here. Pretty simple. Want to create your account? Just an email and password. Sweet. You're in. If you're already a member, just click already a member and same thing, email and password. That's it. There's no other hoops and stuff you have to jump through, and you'll have free access. Okay. Scroll down, you'll see some other things I have here for booking a time with me, and we'll get into this on another session. This is where I go through and I really dissect your business as far as what we can do to help really tweak the value of your property. Okay. And I do that about 5 times a week is what my slots that I have that I do that for people. But that's not what we're talking about today. We're going to talk about the playbook. So you go here, email, password, cool. Create your account, you'll get access. And what you'll find, change this and go to the next screen. And once you're in it, there we go. And once you are inside the playbook, you'll see all this here, all these courses on the left. And they're courses. There's a lot here. Again, that's the little call to action there to book a time. But let's go into first, let's go right down the line. First one is the guide to self-storage automation. You've probably been hearing me talk a lot about, self-storage automation and what I've been going through with my sites and transitioning them over. And I kind of tell a story of, well, I've been doing it for my own sites, but I really wanted to learn from everybody else. People that have been doing it for years, what they've been doing, what they learned, what they would do now if they started fresh, all that kind of thing. And I put it together in this package. And so this first thing here, the 3 steps of self-storage automation, it's about 37 minutes. Again, it's kind of me going more in depth on, my story, my journey into my store, my kind of switching my management company around. I still do traditional management for sites. When I say traditional, have a manager there, 6 or 7 days a week, every day, that kind of things. I do still have that traditionally staffed, but the majority of my sites I've been transitioning over to this automated model. And this is me kind of talking about that, separating out responsibilities with the call center and the on-site maintenance staff, and then how the management ties it all together. Okay. And then as you're going through, this is some interviews that I put together. Again, talking to those that are, like I said, kind of the best of the best. They've been there, done that, still doing it. And just hearing it from their own words, what they're doing, what their recommendations are, and how they're running their operations in this kind of model. So that's invaluable going through that. And then I wanted to talk more with vendors in this industry that are really at the forefront in this model for automation. And, one of the best is Open Tech Alliance. So I want to sit down, talk with them about each kind of specific service that they have under their banner and how that can be implemented in your business. So went down, talked with them about contactless rentals, doing express pay over the phone, the remote manager service that they just announced, the kiosks that they do, of course, CloudGate access, kind of the platform that ties it all together, doing the online auctions. So I want to go more in depth when it came to that, when it came to the service and how it kind of goes into your operations. Okay. So there's that. Then I have a number of years I put together a book and kind of rebranded it a while ago more into my management company. but it's, like I said, there's a lot in here. Some pretty pictures as well, as Jeff Greenberg likes to give me crap about, that there's more pictures than words, but I like my pictures and I keep it simple. So it's short, sweet, but very effective. And people that don't want to sit there and read, basically I read it to you and I put together this course that goes right along with the book. So each section is, well, me basically reading it to you, going through it. And then there's the resources that go along with that section. And, just real briefly, we talk about, of course, just having that mindset to begin with, where you're at, where you want to get to. All right, let's build that bridge of what you need to do to ultimately reach those goals. Let's talk about that, getting your target market put together, finding your average lifetime customer value, because that is really the foundation of your marketing is, well, how much are you willing to spend to get a customer? Simple as that. Okay. And once you know what that figure is, and a lot of that's based on the average lifetime value of a customer, you realize, man, if I, rent this unit to that person, my average is, let's just say it's $1,500 for the average length of stay times what your average rent is. Cool. And make $1,500. Well, is it worth it to me? Am I willing to spend $200 to get $1,500? Okay. And you start having those kind of questions and answers. And it makes a lot of your decisions a lot easier when it comes to, for example, like Google AdWords and your pay-per-clicks or your SquareFoots of the world, and that kind of thing of, well, what are you willing to spend, okay, to get that customer? So we go in depth on that. Go about, measuring. Obviously, you don't be wasting your money, so you got to be measuring everything. You're going through your competition, calling your competition, go through your website. Talk about Google My Business listings or Google Business Profile. That's what it's called now. Your maintenance checklists, going through a site audit. This is always a fun one for people. Just really going in depth on audits. Well, I think it's fun. You may think it's boring. I love audits. Your rental agreements, policy procedures, drive-by. I won't go through everything, but as you'll see, there's a lot here. Okay, there's a lot going on. Between showing units, when you're actually going there, how to present everything correctly, pricing models for your revenue management, go in depth on that, good, better, best models, variant pricing, getting tenant insurance put together. So it's all here. Okay, it's a lot going on. This one's probably one of my favorites, and a lot of people that take the time to go through it, it's really very valuable. One of their favorites too, if you take the time. The thing is, it doesn't take that long. This is my Google My Business training, or Google Business Profile, is what, like I said, they changed their name to, because this is all about free rentals. Okay. We all like free, and it's going through your Google Business Profile and just really optimizing it and maximizing it, making it efficient, and making sure it's being optimized correctly, quite frankly. And so I go through each section. The way I did this probably as like a challenge a little while ago, and went live 4 straight days, and we kind of did it together as a group. So I took all those trainings, I put it together in this playbook for you. Okay, again, this is free. This is all free for you at 3milestorage.com. Okay. We go through, take one section. This is like the info section. This is 42 minutes. I was looking at it. Wow. Really go in depth on what you need to do. Okay. To get that correctly filled out and optimized. And then we go through, we talk about getting your photos and how to get those optimized. That's in a 13-minute video. Then we go through about, the importance of reviews and how to collect those reviews, and 20 minutes on that. And then this is something that's missing on a lot of when I'm doing audits for people and looking at their Google business profiles. I don't see anything for products and posts and things like that. We go into this really in depth as well for 20 minutes on how to do it and why to do it and what kind of cadence, what kind of schedule you need to be on. Okay, go in depth on this. So if I had to say something, what's one of my favorite sections of this whole thing, this is it, because this is one of those things where you can spend the time, implement it, put it together, and you start seeing results fairly quickly. Okay, the phone starts ringing more. You're getting text messages when you get your messages turned on within Google. A lot of different things, and you start really mimicking the Google My Business profile. Almost mirrors your website. Frankly, that's really a good way to look at it. And a lot of times, I'm getting rentals left and right strictly from my Google business profile page, and it's because of what I'm teaching right here. Okay, so that's a personal favorite. Next that I have is, make sure we're still streaming here and you can hear everything. All right, I think we're good. All right, sorry. Just like to double check and make sure I'm still still working here. All right, next one is on the Ultimate Storage Management Playbook. Here is my Manager Elite audio sessions. When I say mine, it's not mine. This is a really good friend of mine, Derek Naylor. Give you a quick little story. He had a company called Storage Marketing Solutions back in the day. A fellow Utah boy built this company up, and they would be doing they started doing landing pages, on new websites, and they would do these weekly manager training sessions. And he had a way with words and a way of just really zeroing in on a technique, a strategy, and way to express that much better than me. I stumble over my words. I can't get a sentence out straight, but he had a great way of just really saying the importance of it, but how to express it, and then having managers be like, oh, and you can kind of see the light bulbs going off, like, oh, that's why we do this. So that'd be a great technique. That will lead to these rentals. And again, it's called Manager Elite audio sessions, but it's not for managers too. It's for I have owners listening to it. I have, district managers, and it's a great training session. What I would do back in the day is I had my managers listen to an audio session and then email me back, what'd you get out of it? Okay. What'd you learn? What were your takeaways? What are you going to do about it? That kind of thing. It was a great way to have that communication going back and forth as a training session, because it was just a new way of looking at the foundation, just the fundamentals of marketing. And honestly, I think a lot of times, especially right now where things are so good when it comes to storage, a lot of the marketing just it gets not thought about. It's just kind of secondary. It's like, oh, everyone's full, everyone's busy. I got a website. Cool, I'm done. I'm good. Because everything's just so crazy right now. Well, it's not always going to be this good. What goes up must come down, kind of a thing. And those that have these marketing fundamentals really cooking are not going to feel the heat. Okay, they're going to be fine. So I'm always continually stressing when it comes to what can I do to better myself than I was, last week when it comes to marketing. What can I tweak? What can I look at? What can I do better? And those people that have that kind of mindset are going to be much better off when things do get not as good as they are now. Because trust me, it's coming sooner or later. And so these are great sessions. Anyway, long story short, Derek put this together, and it was a great company. Had a really good company, and long story short, he dissolved the company, and he ultimately passed away a few years ago. And so, right before he passed, we had purchased his intellectual rights to all of his stuff. And this is one of the main things that I wanted to purchase. So I have, authority to be able to distribute this out. And it's a great way to honor his legacy, quite frankly. It's a great way to have his words and his genius mind to carry on. It means a lot to be able to provide this to you guys. So hope you get a lot out of it. And again, it's just audio. He was not a video dude, so download it and put it on your phone, whatever. But it's audio sessions. Okay. That leads me next to my summits that I've done. The first one was actually before COVID happened, and I wanted to have something online so you wouldn't have to travel, and that's where it came from. And then when COVID happened, of course, everyone had to not travel and do all the virtual summits. But this was one of the first, and I'm really proud of it. I think we got a lot out of it. This one here that I did was called Beat the REITs. I thought it was catchy. For Beat the REITs, and we talked to, oh my gosh, I don't even know. I'll let you count. Over 20, maybe more like 30 people, all my friends in the industry. And I'll just keep going through. Just a lot of people there, but a lot of the really good guys in the industry that I get. Again, they want to give this information. They want to provide value. But I also, at the same time, I didn't want to hear a presentation kind of a thing. I didn't want to have these 45-minute presentations. No offense, but sometimes, oh my gosh, by the 20-minute mark, people are like, all right, get to the point. So when it comes to this and the Beat the REITs, I was like, nope, you got 20 minutes or less. Okay. And here's the story. You are an operator. You're operating in a site that all of a sudden your facility is surrounded by the REITs. Okay. Give me one technique that you would implement to help you beat the REITs in your market. Simple as that. But I wanted action. I didn't want to hear, theory or hypotheticals or no. Tell me what you would do. Okay. And yeah, and again, these are the best of the best in this industry. So what they say, what's going to work? Yeah. It's probably been tried and true already in a lot of different markets. So I know it's going to work. And just a small selfish reason, as well as reason why I do these things, is this is how I learn too, guys. When I'm doing this, started for myself. I want to hear from everybody and talk to everybody because cool, that's how I learn too. And of course, then I put it all together and package it and then give it to everybody else. But hey, I'm getting the heads up first. I got learn from everybody, and that's honestly that's how we keep growing as an industry. That's how we keep growing for like for me as a property management company. That's how I'm helping my clients operate their facilities at a high level because I'm learning from everybody else too. Okay, and all these guys they'll fully admit they don't know everything, but they learn from everyone as well. And this collective knowledge is amazing. It really is. And again, there's a lot here. I never expect people to get this playbook and be like, cool, I'm going to sit down today and go through the whole thing. Don't do that. Your head will explode. But just do have a schedule. I'm going to do 30 minutes a day, something like that, and go through it. And this has been, for a lot of people have reached out to me that they've done when it comes to hiring on. They've been kind of implementing some of these things as their training process of getting new people acclimated to the storage industry. It's kind of like self-storage 101 crash course, frankly, going through this. So they really kind of wrap their mind around what it takes to be a great self-storage manager and operator, have owners that want to self-manage themselves, but want to step up their game. They've been going through these sessions, and as long as you implement it, cool, you're good. It's one of those things like just watching it and listening to it just for the sake of, oh, cool, checked it off that today. That doesn't do anything. Take some action behind it, okay? And that's what I always stress, especially when you start listening to some of my stuff that I talk about. It's all about action. Well, what are you doing today to better yourself than you were yesterday? That's really the bottom line when it comes to a lot of this stuff that I talk about. You don't want anyone can just talk. Take some action behind it, okay? The next one and the last one that I currently have, and I say currently because I will be definitely adding to this, okay? It's not going to just be a time capsule, and there it is. I'll be adding more things and more courses and items to this playbook, okay? This was my first one that I did, the first annual self-storage summit. go through, and again, there's, I don't know, 20 some odd people, 25, I think, maybe a little more, and quite a few people. And this one was, I want to have someone focus on one specific item, but they could go more in depth on this one. Okay. And they range anywhere from 20 minutes up to about an hour each presentation. And I recommend, just, kind of scrolling through and picking and choosing, like, I don't know, here's mine. Every call counts. I want 30 minutes just talking about having an amazing phone sales presentation, because that's how you're going to stand out from everybody else. So I go into that really in depth. This is a good one. Buddy Dean, I haven't talked to you in a while, Dean. Dean Booty, he did a over an hour presentation, and I got a lot of feedback from people that went through this summit the first time and paid for it. You're going to get it for free now. But this is one of their favorite presentations. Why we must go the extra mile for our customers. And I think you'll agree when you go through it, you'll appreciate Dean. He's got a great sense of humor, owner out in the UK, and just he's kicking butt out there. He has a great philosophy, great work ethic, and great attitude, frankly, when it comes to storage. And he has his own podcast too. It's awesome. But he took his time, did a presentation, and it's one of everyone's favorites. Go through, and Ballard, that was a fantastic one as well. Presentation. I could sit here and talk about each one at length, but I want you to discover it for yourself. There's just so much here to really go through and find, discover, and ultimately implement, in your business. So again, this is all at 3milestorage.com, and it's free. Okay. It's all there for you. So again, this is just my way of packaging it all together, so you weren't going to 5 or 6 different places to get that one piece of content. I wanted to put it all in one place for you, make everyone's life easier, and ultimately you want to be learning, because again, the better you are, the better we all are. I think that helps everyone in this industry to kind of raise their game up a little bit, and the only way you can do that is from education. So that's ultimately my goal, is providing this out for you here. So again, I really appreciate you guys tuning in. Those of you who are on here live, thank you very much. It's always fun. It's always fun doing these live, but it's also gets repurposed, and I put it out as the podcast as well. But again, you can always find me on YouTube and LinkedIn and Facebook and the Self Storage Show podcast. I'm out there, so appreciate it. Again, 3milestorage.com. Everyone have a good rest of your day, and I will talk to you soon. All right. Take care. Bye. As a thank you for watching and listening, I'd like to give you the most incredible free gift ever, designed to increase your leads, rentals, and revenue for your self-storage business. It's called the Ultimate Self-Storage Management Playbook, and it contains courses, past summits, my book, and so much more. You can get all of this for free right now at 3milestorage.com. That's the number 3milestorage.com.